Hi guys, welcome to the course of TE30503 Language Testing and Evaluation. In this particular lecture, I will focus only on the course introduction, where we will look at the relationships between teaching, testing, and learning. For this particular lecture, we will focus on one aspect of it, which I term it as clearing the ground. So, before we actually begin to look into what I meant by clearing the ground, I would like you to have a thought about these four terms: assessment, testing, measurement, and evaluation. What do you understand by each and every one of these terms? Okay, we'll look at the first term called assessment. Essentially, assessment involves any variety of procedures used to obtain information about students' performance. And typically, assessment might involve some form of measurement. So the part where you actually use a tool to measure, example, a test, is a kind of assessment. Likewise, you can also use non-measurement to conduct some form of assessment. Example, informal observation. So, using measurement and non-measurement procedures will allow you to gather enough of information to allow you to make certain form of value judgments. So, these value judgments will allow you to then formulate or assess a particular candidate or a student based on certain derived values, levels, status. So, for example, you could say whether a particular learner has made good progress in learning or not. The second term that I would like to deal with is called testing. Testing involves, or essentially, is actually a systematic procedure for the measurement of behavioral change. And in testing, it usually involves three stages. First, preparation, which is the test specification. Second, the implementation, which involves test administration. And thirdly, examination, which involves scoring. Whereas a test is really an instrument for measuring a sample of behavior. And usually a test involves posing a set of questions in a uniform manner. Moving on, we'll look at the third important concept called measurement. Measurement is actually a process of obtaining a numerical description of a particular characteristics. And usually, measurement is associated with a certain value, example, marks, scores, or level, which could be advanced level, intermediate level, or beginner level, or sometimes status, pass or fail. And measurement, for example, when we talk about measurement, you could, for example, measure your weight, your height, based on certain values. The last term associated with a last important concept relating to language testing and assessment is evaluation. Evaluation, according to Staffer-Beam, is the process of delineating, obtaining, and providing useful information for judging decision alternatives. And evaluation typically involves stages of identifying what information is needed, which is known as delineating, obtaining the information, and lastly, providing useful information for you to make that all-important value judgment. So, besides looking into these four terms, there are some similarities and differences that we have to look at. For example, measurement and assessment are used interchangeably all the time. There are not really a lot of differences between them, but there are some subtle differences. For example, the first comparison would be measurement is widely used in psychology and education, whereas assessment is more encompassing and it could include income and revenue. Another difference is measurement is restricted to measurement of values, whereas assessment covers a more larger area than that. So for example, you measure your weight or your height based on certain values, but you assess your students' proficiency of their English language, for example, using a pass or a fail. Last but not least, we'll look at the comparison between assessment and evaluation. This is another term that is commonly misunderstood. Okay? Assessment is to determine a rate or amount and is used as an activity to measure student learning and other human characteristics. Whereas evaluation is to determine significance or worth or judging the effectiveness of worth of educational programs, leading to decision making. So, what we have done so far is to look into the 4 basic concepts of assessment, testing, measurement, and evaluation. And we also look at the differences between assessment and measurement, and assessment and evaluation. And with that, we have come to the end of this brief introduction to the course. I hope to see you again the next time. Thank you very much.